Hey folks, welcome to CP Cards and Dice, and I'm playing the last three innings of Wildcard Game 4, learning replay baseball, 2018 Wildcard game between the Oakland A's and the New York Yankees in the Bronx. And I'm learning to play replay baseball. It's getting a lot smoother, a lot faster. And pretty good game right now. And I'll give you a quick recap of what happened. In the top of the third, with one out, both Martini and Chapman single, and then Lowry flies out to right with two outs now. Up comes Chris Davis, who gets a hold of a fastball and launches it into the center field seats, and that puts the Oakland A's up by a score of 3-0. And then we go to the bottom of the fourth, where up comes, leading off the inning, is Aaron Judge, and he connects to deep left field into the seats for a 3-1. Cutting the Oakland lead to 3-1 now. And then we go to the top of the fifth. Severino's still in there. He walks Chapman. Lowry strikes out, and then Davis doubles, driving in Chapman for a 4-1 lead. And where the score is 4-1 until the bottom of the sixth, when with two outs, Hicks reaches base on a Semien error. And then Stanton, the DH, walks, putting runners on first and second. And then up comes Luke Voigt, who gets a hold of one and drives it deep into the outfield seats for a 3-run shot, and that puts the Yankees up 4-3. And actually, no, excuse me, that ties the game at 4 apiece. So that's where the score stands right now. This is the 2018 wildcard game between the Oakland A's and the New York Yankees in the Bronx. The score is tied at 4-4. It's the top of the seventh. It's going to be Chapman, Lowry, and Davis against Dellin Betances. We're using all the actual lineups and actual relief pitchers. And let's roll. It's going to be Dellin Betances versus Chapman. Matt Chapman, who batted .278 with 24 home runs. And that's going to be a 1-3 is a 1K. And then a 1-6 is a 35. So that's a 36. Column 1, 36. Says ground ball to third base. Now, if pitcher has a K, it's a strikeout. So Dellin Betances gets his third strikeout. And that's the first out in the top of the seventh. Jed Lowry batted .267 with 23 home runs. Here's the pitch from Betances. And that's a 6-4, which is a 3K. And then a 6-6, which is an 8. And that's going to be 11. 11 is a single to right, unless there's a star, and there's no star from what I can see. So since there's no star, it's just a single. So runner on at first base, and it's Chris Davis, who's 2 for 3 on the day. He struck out, but then hit a 3-run homer and then doubled for another RBI. So he's got all 4 Oakland A RBIs. Dellin Betances, the pitch to Chris Davis. Chris Davis batted .247 with 48 round trippers. So it's a 1-3. 1-3 is a 1K. And then a 1-2. And that's a 2. So that's going to be a 3 total. And that's going to be a strikeout. And that's strikeout number... that was 3. This is strikeout number 4 for Betances. And it's Matt Olson, the lefty. And Betances can face 8 batters. He's faced 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 We have a lefty coming up, Olsen. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring in a lefty named I believe, let me double check who the lefty is for the Yanks. I believe he's Zach Britton. We're going to bring in Zach Britton, who pitched in this game, to face the lefty. We're going to change the color. Make him, I'm going to make him yellow. So Zach Britton comes in. All right. So Zach Britton versus the lefty versus lefty. Here's the, oh, that's a foul ball. Let's do that again. ID gesture does that. 5-1. 5-1 is a 5. And then a 5-2 is a 27. So that's going to be 32 in the 5 column. 32 in the 5 column is a fly ball to left field. And left fielder McCutcheon is there, and that retires the side. So they leave one. They get one hit, no errors. And after 6.5, it's 4-4 the score. Now in the bottom half of the inning, it's going to be Andujar, Sanchez, and Torres for the Yanks against Fernando Rodney. Rodney can go 9 batters, 3 innings in relief. So that's a 1-5. A 1-5 is a 1, and then a 1-4 is a 35. So that's going to be a 36, column 136. And it says ground ball to third base, 5-3. 1 out. Next is Gary Sanchez, 0 for 2 today. Struck out and grounded out. And that's a 4-5. A 4-5 is going to be shortstop. Shortstop is a 2. And then it's 4-4. It's going to be 18. Column 418 says grounder out at first to shortstop, 6-3. And Semyon fires the first and gets Sanchez easily. And it's Gleyber Torres, the second baseman for the Yanks. He's a 50. We'll write down 51. That's his number, his error number. All right. That's a 2-4. A 2-4 is a 1, and then a 2-2 is, it's going to be a 12. Column 212. Column 212 says single to left. So that's ripped to left field, and Martini plays it in quickly on a hop. 2-out single. Andrew McCutcheon. That's a 1-4. That's a 1, and then a 1-6. It's a 46. 46 column 1. 46 column 1 is strikeout. And that retires the side. So McCutcheon strikes out for the 4th time. And that's going to be out number 3. Strikeout number 1 for Fernando Rodney. Now we go to the top of the 8th. It's Piscotty, a righty, Laureano, and Semyon. And we're going to bring in, who else pitched? Robertson. And Robertson's going to be, I guess, green. Top of the 8th, 4-4 the score. Wildcard game. Do or die. Stephen Piscotty versus Dave Robertson. Now, some of the things you got to get used to, just the cards, where everything is, and understanding how to read the cards. The speed is up there, base stealing. You know, the position, the arms in parentheses, then the error rating. I guess 151 represents how many games he played in right field. He played all his games in right field. So you get used to this. It flows much easier, and it's much easier to read. Um, then you have to get to know the numbers and the symbols and what all the symbols mean, and that is a step-by-step process. But it's coming along. I'm getting much more comfortable with the game. It's a lot of fun. So I'm thinking now, I'm getting used to it, and I'm thinking now of getting one season. I'm not sure which season I'm going to be getting. So Stephen Piscotty versus David Robertson, who David Robertson moved to the Philadelphia Phillies this year. He's injured, on the injured list. Not the DL list, but the IL list. They changed the name of that. I guess disabled was not politically correct, and that's fine. Don't want to offend anybody if it's not necessary. All right, so it's going to be a 6-1. 6-1 is a 2K. 6-1 is a 2K, and then it's 6-2, which is an 8. So that's a 10. That's a 6-10, and that's going to be a single to center. So Piscotty singles to center, and Hicks gets it in. Laureano the batter now. Ramon Laureano, who came in the second half of the season, played 50 games for the A's, and batted .288 with 5 home runs and 7 stolen bases. Here's the pitch from Robertson. Now it's a 1-1, that's a 1K, and then a 1-3. A 1-3 is a 10. So that's going to be 11 with an asterisk. An 11 with an asterisk is going to be a single up the middle. And the asterisk, what does that mean? Oh yeah, symbol beside the result. It's not the, okay, so it's a single up the middle. Runner advances 1 base. Runners with 4 or 5 speed advance 2 bases. So we have to look at Piscotty's speed, which is kind of cool. It takes the speed into consideration. He's a 3 speed, so he will not be advancing. So first and second, first 2 batters reach on Robertson. And it's Marcus Semien. We're not going to bunt. We still don't know how to bunt, so we're not even going to attempt that right now. Not yet. And I'm not a big bunter to begin with. I'm more of the Joe Madden school of coaching. And that's a 3-2. 3-2 is a 1, and then a 3-6 is a 43. Column 3, 43, column 3. It's going to be a line drive toward left field versus a right-handed pitcher leaping catch by shortstop for the out with runner on second and less than 2 outs, possible double play. Well, that's our situation. Roll 1 die against the shortstop's defense. If die is higher, runner on second is doubled off. So I think this happens too often, and I'm going to double check all my steps. So it's 3-2 is a 1, right? And then a 3-6 is a 42, so that's a 43. A 43 is line drive towards left field versus a right-handed pitcher. It's going to be a leaping catch by the shortstop and a potential double play. Now in 4 games, I think this has happened 3. This will be the 3rd time that this potentially could happen. Let's see if it happens. And I mean, you can hardly ever see this. I mean, I can watch 15 games and maybe see this once. Roll 1 die against shortstop defense. Okay, so let's look at the shortstop's defense here. Shortstop defense is a 2. So if it's higher than the defense, right? 1 die is higher, runner on second is doubled off, and it's like a 6-6-4, if you will. All right, so let's roll 1 die and find out what that is. It's a 5, so it's a 6-6-4 double play. So 6-4, and then a line drive 6 DP, 2 out. Runners Laureano stays at first, and then it's Lucroy. 2 outs now in the top of the 8th, and Lucroy, the batter. Lucroy's 0 for 3, flied out twice to center, and then struck out. Here's the pitch. It's a 2-1. A 2-1 is a 1 with an asterisk, and then it's a 2-4. So that's going to be a 17 in column 2. A 17 in column 2 is a strikeout. A strikeout. (12-16). Yeah, it's a 17, so it's a strikeout, and that retires the side. So big double play by Gregorius, doubling Piscotty off second base, gets Robertson out of a jam, and then the big strikeout against Lucroy, and that was 2 hits, no runs, and we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. All right, so we have Rodney was in there, but Rodney I think has used up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, he's got 3 more. So we're gonna go against McCutch. You know who's up? Judge is up. Let's go. Aaron Judge against Fernando Rodney. And that's a 1-5. A 1-5 is a 1, and then a 1-4 is a 1. That's a strikeout. Judge down swinging. The high cheese gets him. Strikeout number 2. And next is Aaron Hicks. Aaron Hicks was hit by a pitch, struck out, and then reached on an error and scored a run. It's 4-4 the score in the bottom of the 8th here at Yankee Stadium. 2018 Wildcard between the Oakland A's and the New York Yankees using replay baseball. All right, here's the pitch from Rodney to Aaron Hicks. That's a 2-3. A 2-3 is a 1. And then a 2-4, it's going to be a 17 on column 2, strikeout. Or a fly out the center with runners on base, but there's nobody on base, so that's a strikeout. 2 outs. And Rodney can go 1 more. Let's see. Rodney's card actually tells you can go 9. He's gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here's Stanton, Giancarlo Stanton, who struck out, flied out, or lined to left, and then walked and scored a run. All right, it's going to be a 1-6. A 1-6 is a 1, and then a 1-4 is a 2, and that's a strikeout. Anything in column 1, 2 to 6 is going to be a strikeout, and that retires the side. Rodney strikes out the side. 1, 2, 3 inning. And later on today, I'll be playing APA, replaying the, let me see, take a quick peek, the NLCS of 1988 between the Mets and the Dodgers. The Mets were highly favored in this series, and the Dodgers ended up winning it in 7 games. So we'll be playing that using APA. That will go pretty quickly. All right, we go to the top of the 9th in a 4-4 game now. And it's going to be Martini, Chapman, and Lowry against David Robertson. Oh. Let's just make sure we got everything leading off. It's going to be Voigt. There we go. All right. I put it on top of the pitcher card so I don't get confused. This is more clear to me when I see this. I recognize it better. Pitcher on top of the batter. It keeps me structured and disciplined. All right, so it's going to be Robertson against Nick Martini. Now, what has Nick Martini done today? He's lined out to short, singled, flied out to center, flied out to right, and this is his 5th at bat. He's 1 for 4 with a run scored. 1 for 4 with a run scored. Here's the pitch from Robertson. It's going to be a 1-4. It's a 1 and a 1-2. That's a strikeout. Martini. Curveball gets him. And that's strikeout number 2, out number 1. And this is how I keep track of my pitchers. It's much easier visually for me to do that. So Martini's out. Matt Chapman. Chapman is 1 for 3. He singled in the 3rd and scored a run. He's also walked and scored a run. He's got good speed, Chapman. Let's see. It's a 3-5. 3-5 is a 1. And then a 3-6 is a 43. Column 3, 43. And that's going to be, again, ask me, line drive toward left field. or it's going to be a right-handed pitcher leaping catch by shortstop. And that's what it's going to be. It's line L6, 2 out. So if there would have been a run around second base, that would have been another potential double play, which is fine. It should be, harder to get that, because that play doesn't happen very often. The line drive to short and then you double the guy off. Anyway, Lowry. These are the little idiosyncrasies. Every game has them, which is fine. I mean, I have no problem with that. It's not really a criticism, but rather a commentary. And I do my little commentaries on most of the games that I play. I know Status Pro, which I love, one of my favorite games. I get a lot of ground balls to catchers. I mean, I get 3 of those a game. I've watched 10 games, and I haven't seen a ground ball to the catcher. Very unusual, unless it's a bunt, right? But in Status Pro, it seems to happen, once, twice, even sometimes 3 times a game, which makes absolutely no sense. Lowry, with 2 outs in the top of the 9th, here's the pitch from Robertson, and that's going to be a 4-5. A 4-5 is going to be shortstop. Shortstop is a 2, and then it's going to be a 4-2. Oh, 4-2 is an 11, a 2 is 13. Column 4, 13 is going to be a possible error. Possible error versus the second baseman. Oh, actually, he's a 3. Let me see. So it's a 3, and then a 4. 4-5 is a shortstop, which is a 3, and then a 4-2. So it's a 14. A 14 column 4. 14 column 4 is a possible error. Okay, so let's look at Gleyber Torres and his number, and we wrote it 51. So we're going to roll. The red and the white have to be less than 51 for it not to be an error, and it's a 14. So it's just a ground out to second base, which Torres handles, flips to first, and that retires the side. 3 up, 3 down for Robertson. We will get a new pitcher starting the 10th inning for the Yanks, and I'll tell you who that's going to be. Let's see who else pitched in this game. I know that Chapman pitched in this game, and that's who else I have pitching in this game. I don't have anybody else who pitched in this actual game, so I may have to kind of improvise at that point. Yeah. Let me see. There's another game that I played. I have all the names there: Robertson, Britton, and then Chapman. So Chapman will be the last pitcher, and then I'll have to kind of pull out as I see fit for the game. So it's going to be Chapman coming in the 10th inning. Try to get him to go 2 innings if possible. He can go 9 batters. And leading it off is going to be Davis, Chris Davis. In the top of the if there is a top of the 10th, it's going to be Luke Voigt versus Rodney's already filled his quota. So doing this little symbol here to annotate that there's a new relief pitcher. I got that from Dave at Baseball Demos. So now it's going to be color blue. Color blue. Color blue, and that's going to be Rodney Kelly Trevino. Rodney Kelly Trevino. Blake Treinen. He pitches in this game. So that's who that's going to be. All right, Blake Treinen. And he's going to pitch against, it's going to be Voigt, Gregorius, and Andujar. Here's the pitch from Treinen. Now, Treinen pitched in 68 games, 80 innings pitched, a 0.79 ERA. Wow. 0.84 whip, and a 9-2 record. Here's the pitch. It's a 5-4. 5-4 is a 2. And then a 5-4 again. So 5-4 again is going to be a 34, column 5. 34, column 5. 34, column 5 is a strikeout. Boy. High heat gets him. One away. Next is Didi Gregorius. Gregorius is 0 for 3 on the day. Here's the pitch. It's a 4-4. It's going to be shortstop. Shortstop is going to be a 2. And then it's a 4-5. 4-5 is another 2. So that's a 4 in column. So it's a 2-2 in column 4. That's a 4 in column 4. And that's going to be a grounder. And who do we say was 2 is a 4-4 to the shortstop. So that's 6-3. Semyon fires the first and gets Gregorius hustling down the line by half a step. And now it's Miguel Andujar steps into the box, and Blake Treinen looks in for the sign. 2 out, bottom of the 9th. Miguel Andujar. Now Andujar hit 27 home runs with a .297 average. And that's a 5-5. 5-5 is a 3. And then a 5-6. A 5-6. It's going to be a 48. 48, column 5 says fly out to center field. And that retires the side. 3 up, 3 down. We go to the top of the 10th. Free baseball time. Free baseball. It's going to be Chris Davis, Olson, and Piscotty against Aroldis Chapman. Now we used 1, 2, 3 colors, and we're using blue with the other team. Let me see if I have another color on the side here. Looks like I have purple, red, and brown. So, red looks a little bit too much like orange, so I'm going to go with the purple right now. Go with the purple. Oh, it's up here. There we go. Okay, so let me try to erase this purple that we did down here so we don't throw our system off. There we go. Okay, the purple is going to be Aroldis Chapman. Chapman pitched 55 games with a 2.47 ERA, a 1.06 whip. He had 32 saves. All right, here goes. It's going to be Chris Davis against the flamethrower Aroldis Chapman. And that's going to be a 2-3. A 2-3 is a 1W asterisk, a large W. I think there's a small W, and they mean different things. And then we have a 2-4, so it's a 1, and then a 2-4 is going to be a 17. 17 in column 2. Now, it's a strikeout with bases empty. The asterisk says 2-12, so that doesn't apply. It's a strikeout. All right, Aroldis strikes out Chris Davis. Matt Olson now. This could be trouble. This is a 6. It's a, and I'll pull those out so you can see them. It's a 6-6. So it's a 6-6. That's a 3K. And then a 6-5. A 6-5 is a 36. So a 6-6 is a 3. So that's going to be 39 in column 6. A 39 is going to be a strikeout. And the column, the reason I said this could be trouble is column 6 is the home run column. All right, back-to-back strikeouts. And now Piscotty against Chapman. Here's the pitch. So that's a 5-2. 5-2 is a 5K. And then a 5-5 is a 9. So that's 14. And the 14 is going to be a hit by pitch. So Piscotty gets plunked. the KO I think only applies when there's an out, and so we have a 2-out base runner. Piscotty gets plunked, and he makes it over to first base. 2 out. Piscotty takes his lead, and it's Ramon Laureano. Here's the pitch. It's a 1-5. A 1-5 is a 1K, and a 1-5 again is a 2. That's going to be a strikeout. So that retires the side. 3 strikeouts for Aroldis Chapman. The A's leave 1, 4-4, going to the bottom of the 10th inning. Using replay baseball, as you can see, I'm getting a little smoother. Still probably making a couple little mistakes here and there. Not totally comfortable, but getting smoother with it. It's a lot of fun. System's a lot of fun. Sanchez, Gary Sanchez leading it off against Blake Treinen. Here's the pitch. It's a 4-5. 4-5 is shortstop again. That's a 2. And then it's a 4-6. A 4-6 is a 1. So that's a 3. And a 3 in column 4 is going to be a grounder. 6-3. Semien over to Olsen. 1 away. Gleyber Torres now. Here's the pitch. That's a 1-6. A 1-6 is a 1, and then a 1-2 is a 3. That's a strikeout. 2 outs. Strikeout number 2 for Treinen. And it's Andrew McCutchen leading it off. Oh, it's a foul ball. Try that again. So it's going to be a 2-3. A 2-3 is a 1 with an asterisk. And then a 2-1 is going to be a 44 with a number 5. So we're going to see what that becomes. And we're going to double check that. A 2-3 is a 1, and then a 2-1 is a... So it's going to be a total of 44 in column 2. A 44 in column 2. It's going to be a ground ball back to the pitcher. Let's see what it says. Asterisk, no, that doesn't apply. And then the number, column 2, it was a 5. Let's see if we can find where that is. On base. If it was in, the letter Y appears. Don't totally know what that number represents. So there's a couple little things every so often. So it's a column 2, 43-5. Column 2, 43-5. And this is a batter misses 1 game. I'm not doing that just because I'm playing actual lineups. Runners on that's 1 base. If there's a Y, disregard. Treat as a chopper to the infield. Don't know, but I don't think it applies because I don't see it anywhere written there. It must mean something though. So 43 is going to be a comebacker to the pitcher, Treinen, over to first, and that retires the side. All right, 3 up, 3 down. So Treinen retires 6 in a row. And gonna have to bring in a new pitcher here for the A's, but it's gonna be, and Chapman's going his 2nd inning. Chapman's gonna go a 2nd inning here in this wild card game. Oh, actually I skipped one. I don't know why I did that. There we go. All right, here goes. It's going to be Marcus Semien. Semien is lined into a double play and singled twice. He's 2 for 4. Here's the pitch. It's going to be 6-6. So 6-6 is a 3K, and then 6-5 is a 36. So that's a 39. A 39 in column 6 is going to be a strikeout. Semyon strikes out. Strikeout number 4 for Chapman. And it's Jonathan Lucroy. That's a 3-5 is a 1, and then a 3-3 is a 6 in column 3. A 6 is a short fly to center. 2 out. And it's Nick Martini. And that's a 4-5. A 5 is shortstop. Shortstop is a 2. And then it's a 4-6. It's going to be 13. Column 413 is going to be a possible error. Possible error. So it's a 4-5. We said it versus the shortstop, 51. So we're going to roll 51. And it's an 11. So it's no error. 6-3, and that retires the side. I'll try to erase the purple because that's it for Chapman. He's gone 7 batters. And we're going to have a new pitcher coming in the 12th. If there is a 12, we'll see what happens. Eventually, something has to give here. All right, Trennan is going to be out. So we have to look at the data, the stats in this game. Let me see if I can find this game. I had it up here on my computer. Let's see if I can track it down. Let's see. World Series game. Oh, here it is. Okay. Let's see who. I got all the pitch. Oh, Familia. Familia comes in for Trennan. That works. Perfect. Familia actually pitched in this game as well. Now I had to create this card. This wasn't part of the regular set. Liam Hendricks. So I kind of, you can see some pencil marks. I try to make it the same exact size, so it kind of fit properly in my hands. So it's going to be Jerry Familia. He's with the Mets now, having an interesting season, up and down season. Went on the disabled list. And we are going to use, we've already used the 4 colors. We're looking for a 5th color now. And the 5th color, what did we say we had? We had a brown and a purple. We're going to go brown. We're going to go brown. Familia is going to be brown. It's a Dominican national color. Just making that up. I don't know that. All right. So Familia is going to pitch to at least three batters. And who leads us off is Judge. Judge leads us off. Here's Jerry Familia, excuse me. That's going to be a 3-1. A 3-1 is a 1, and then a 3-3 is a 6. So it's a 6 in column 3, and that's going to be a short fly to center. Now, some of these are shaded. I'm not using the ballpark cards yet because I want to learn the game and feel real comfortable with the game, and then say, okay, I'm going to add the ballpark cards. That's kind of how I do it. And I'm okay with making a mistake here. You know, it doesn't throw me off. I'll get used to it, and I'll be more comfortable with it. Familia to Hicks. Hicks is 0 for 3. And that's a 2-6. A 2-6 is a 1, and then a 2-3 is a 17. Column 217, a strikeout. That's strikeout number 1. Bottom of the 11th inning, 4-4. Wildcard game. This is as exciting as it gets. Giancarlo Stanton. We're looking for a 6 here. We can end this game. And we don't get it. It's a 1-2. A 1-2 is a 1, and then a 1-3 is a 2, and that's a strikeout. So that's 3 up, 3 down. And Familia strikes out both Hicks and Stanton. And we go to the top of the 12th. And this is going to start creating a problem for us because we're running out of space. So what we should start doing here is actually erasing that X. That's what we're going to do. We're going to get rid of the X. I'm going to start with this box. And I'm going to show you another little trick here. Just put a line here. put a line. We're going to bring in a new pitcher here for the Yanks. And we're going to just follow this down like that. And that'll give us more opportunity, maybe give us 2 or 3 innings, depending how everything goes. All right. So Chapman is leading it off, and we need a pitcher for the Yankees. And let's see who else the Yankees have or used in this game. That's it. They used everybody. So I don't know who was on this roster. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the next game. I'm going to look at the previous day's game and see if I can figure out what was what. Series summary. Let me look at that. I'm going to look at the series summary now. Okay, who else did the Yanks use? Yankees pitching, Roberts. Oh, well, it was only one game. Yeah. So I have to go to the following series, even though the roster may have changed. But let's see. This is tricky now. Let's go Yankees playoffs 2018. Let's see what I get. So the next team, 2018, last minute. Okay, who did they play? Yankee playoffs. Yankees postseason 2018. Make a change to there, because I don't really remember who they played. So this is an issue that I'm having here. Postseason. Let's see if this gives me any hint. I know eventually they play the Astros, I believe. Well, let's see. So we got a little short pause in that I'm trying to figure out who the Yanks play after the A's, so I can pick out a pitcher that was at least, was representative of the team during the playoffs. I don't want to just pick somebody who was maybe on the disabled list. All right, this doesn't help me at all. Yanks loss against the Red Sox. Okay, do the Yanks play the Red Sox? Yep, they play the Red Sox. So let's see. Let's see who. So we got the box score. Yankees Red Sox box score. Red Sox box score. 2018. Playoffs. All right. Make sure it's game summary. October 6, 2018. Okay. Let's see if this gives me some idea of who else the Yanks had. We're held up here just doing some research, finding out who the Yanks had on their roster to relieve. We're going into the 12th inning, top of the 11th, no, top of the 12th inning. It's a 4-4 game. Let's see. Britton and Chapman again. All right. Let's go back again. Yanks, no. Let's go. Yanks, Red Sox. Series. Almanac. Let's go Almanac on this. This should give me all the games. Almanac played October 6th. Box score game. Oh, man. Okay, that doesn't help me. I need the other games. So I gotta go back. No. There. Game 2018 playoffs. Box score of game 5. Alright, let's see. October 5th, excuse me. And that's coming up. And this one's gonna show me. Wow, this took a while. Okay, I got Hap. All right, box score of 2018, October 5th. And this is going to give me a bunch of Green and Lynn and Britton and Robertson. So Green, we're going to bring in Green. Going to pitch to Chapman. And even Hap comes in. And who else? Hap actually started. Lynn came in. So Lynn can be used. And then I also have Chad Green that can be used. Okay, so we're going to go with Lynn. Chad Green's 51. Lynn is terrible. So we're going to go with Chad Green. Wow, all right. So Green is going to come in. And Green now is going to be orange. I've not used orange. So Green is going to be orange. Okay. Sorry that took so long, guys. Figured it out though, finally. All right. All in the spirit of, history, right? All right, Chapman, Matt Chapman. It's a 3-4. A 3-4 is a 1, and then a 3-4 again. It's a 58 in column 3. A 58 in column 3 is going to be a rare play, potential rare play, or it's going to be a dribbler towards the mound. So we're going to see if we roll even, it's a dribbler towards the mound, and we roll odd, so it's going to be a rare play. We got to look at the book. There's a little rare play book, and there's nobody on, so we look at, I think it's the first page, and I'll show you what that looks like. Bases empty, rare play, and I'm not totally sure of how to do this, but roll 2 dice and add them. So we're going to roll these 2 and add them. It's going to be a 5. A 5 says long fly ball to left. Now the 0, 1, 2, I don't know how to get that, but it's a long fly ball, and then we roll against the outfielder's error rating. If the roll is not higher, he recovers and makes the catch. If the roll is higher, the ball is dropped for an error. So this is another potential error. So we don't know who it's to. So I guess I'm going to do 1 and 2 is to left, 3 and 4 is to center, and 5 and 6. All right. So let's keep this on the side before we forget what we did. And it's a 1, so that would be to left field. So we're going to look at our left fielder. Our left fielder is a 3. Actually, no, we need his error information, and that's going to be in left field a 65. So only a 66 will be an error. So he makes the catch. So that's F7. One away. And it's Jed Lowry. And that's a 5-4. 5-4 is a 1. And then a 5-2 is a 2. So that's 2 total. 5-2 is going to be a grounded to first. 3 unassisted for out number 2. Lowry's out. And now it's Chris Davis. The always dangerous Chris Davis. Here's the pitch from Green. And that's going to be a 4-1 is a first base. First baseman is a 3. And then a 4-2 is a 2. So that's going to be 5. Column 4-5, that's going to be a grounder to first. And that retires the side. 3 up, 3 down. So that was there. And now it's here and here. So we may get another inning out of it. Oh, and I shouldn't have put the X. Oh man, that messes me up. I should have just put this thing like that, because now I'm doing it a little bit different. Stretching it out as much as possible. Let me just make this tiny there. All right. All right, we go to the bottom of the 11th. It's 4-4. It's going to be Voigt, Gregorius, and Andujar. And we got to get rid of the X here as well. We're changing the whole system of how we're keeping score because of the extra innings. We're running out of columns. All right, so it's going to be Voigt against Jerry Familia. Jerry Familia is using purple here. No, it was brown. Was it purple? Yeah. Wait a second. Yeah, it was brown. All right, here goes. Could end walk-off fashion, walk-off style. Here's the pitch from Familia. It's a 2-2. A 2-2 is a 1. And then a 2-5 is a 5. Column 2, 5 is a strikeout. 1 out. Next is Didi Gregorius. That's a 5-3. A 5-3 is a 3K. And then a 5-1. A 5-1 is a 4. So 5-3 is a 3, and then a 5-1 is a 4. That's a 7. 7 with a K. And we're looking at column 5. A 7. That's a base on balls. So we got a base runner finally. Yanks get a base runner, Didi Gregorius. And it's Miguel Andujar. Here's a pitch from Familia. It's a 2-4. 2-4 is a 1. And then a 2-6. It's a 61 with a 5. A 61 in column 2, a 61 is going to be a drive toward the gap to center field. And it gives us a bunch of instructions. It says, if outfielder defensive rating is higher than the raised number beside the 60 on the batter's card, he has made a fine running catch. And that's not going to happen. I mean, I highly doubt that the center fielder, Laureano, is a 4, and he's a good center fielder, but he's only a 4, and we have the number 5. So again, it says if the outfielder's defensive rating is higher, which it is not, he makes a great catch. If the outfielder's defensive rating is not higher than the raised number, the ball falls in for a double with a asterisk. With less than 2 outs, batter stretches hit to a triple if third base is open. So we have a runner on first with 1 out, and a double is hit. So let's see what it says here. If outfielder's defense rating is not higher than the raised number, the ball falls in for a double. Runners advance 2 bases. Scoring from first if speed is higher than the outfielder's arm. Gregorius' speed, let's look at what that is. The outfielder's arm is a 4. Gregorius' speed is a 4, so it's not going to be higher. So he's not going to score. So this is like a narrative here. You got to read the whole story behind what's going on, which is kind of cool. If speed is higher than the outfielder's arm with 2 outs, or with 2 outs. Okay, so he would score with 2 outs, but there's not 2 outs, so it's going to be second and third now. So they're going to have to hold up Gregorius, second and third, and that's going to force the infield to come in. And it's Gary Sanchez. Now they may walk Sanchez just to have the bases loaded and make it easier on the. And we're going to do that. We're going to walk Sanchez. So Familia, or the coach, sends Sanchez to first. Bases loaded now. Infield is in. Gleyber Torres. The Yankees are on the verge. They have the winning run in the playoff, in the one-game playoff, the Wildcard game, 2018 Wildcard game. 90 feet away in Gregorius. There's only 1 out, and it's Gleyber Torres versus Jerry Familia. Here's the pitch. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Familia can go 9. And that's going to be a 5-1. A 5-1 is a 3K. And then a 5-1 again. So we have a 3, and then a 5-1 is going to be a 4. That's going to be a 7. A 7. Column 5 is going to be a base on balls with bases full, 2 balls. Okay. So we got to roll again here. This is pretty exciting. 4-4 game, bottom of the 12th inning, and it's the wild card game. We're learning to replay baseball, and it's Gleyber Torres, Yankee second baseman, facing Jerry Familia. Here's the pitch. Bases loaded. Could be a game-winning hit here. That's going to be a 6-5. A 6-5 is a 1, and then a 6-3 is a 36. So that's going to be a 37 in column 6. Let's double check that. 6-5. So 1, 6, 3 is a 36. That's a 37 in column 6. A 37 in column 6 says strikeout. Oh, goodness gracious. Wow. That's out number 2. And now it's Andrew McCutchen with the bases loaded in the bottom of the 12th against Jerry Familia. Score tied at 4 at Yankee Stadium. So this is game-winning hit opportunity here for McCutchen. Here's the pitch from Familia. It's going to be a 4-5. A 4-5. It's going to be a shortstop. So that's a 2. And then a 4-6. So 1. So that's a 3 in column 4. And that's going to be a ground ball out at first. Shortstop flips to second base. And that's all she wrote. Wow. Okay. So the Yanks had the bases loaded with only 1 out, and Gleyber Torres struck out, and then McCutchen hit into a fielder's choice to end the inning. Jerry Familia pitches to 9 batters in this inning. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, no, total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that's actually the number that he's allowed, or the batters he's allowed to face. So we're going to have to look for another pitcher to replace Familia. Actually, he can, in relief, he can go 3 innings or 9 batters face. We may allow him to go 1 more inning just because of the situation here. So Olsen is going to be up. It's 4-4 going to the top of the 13th inning. It's going to be Olsen, Piscotty, and Laureano. Olsen, Piscotty, and Laureano. And you know what? I'm going to come back with the continuation of this game because I got to take a short break here. Been here for a while, and this is a never-ending situation. So we're playing the wild card game. It's 4-4 in the top of the 13th inning, free baseball, and I will come back with part 2 to continue this.